Greetings, interwebs. Today we will be making a fermented cabbage in massive quantities. So here we go. First off, we'll go through the equipment. This is a food processor, which is not absolutely necessary, but makes it significantly faster. If we're doing it at these size of batches, it's really the best way to go. My particular one is a Breville. It's a bit on the pricey side, but the thing that I like the most about it is that it's made of stainless steel. So these teeth in here and the teeth on there are right there are both made of stainless steel, and a lot of them will have plastic in the base, and those will wear out quicker. So this will last almost forever. Also, if I happen to pan around the kitchen or my apartment and you notice that it's messy and that bothers you, I would invite you to get over that. We're in the middle of a pandemic here. So anyhow, moving on, because it is messy. Moving on, the crock. So this is a Gartoff Harsh crock, and it's a German design, if you couldn't tell by the name, and they originally used these for making sauerkraut. And this goofy little thing in the middle here is to create this channel, and once you get your ferment on the inside, you fill this channel with water, put the lid on, and you then have an airlock. So kind of ingenious. They've been using those for a couple hundred years. So yeah, so that's the equipment, and then cutting board knife, big bowl, and all the goodies. So I got all of these veggies from the Boyd Hill Nature Preserve Garden. So you got some tomatoes, a ton of kale, some cilantro, green onion, and basil. Those weren't a specific thing that I picked. Those are what they had, and so we're going to put them into our ferment, and it's going to be delicious. Collards aren't actually my favorite thing to ferment. They still come out a little bit chewier. I prefer cabbage, but food storage is something that has recently become a priority for me. I think there's a very good chance that we will find our just-in-time economy doesn't deliver in time when it actually matters. I hope that's not true, but in case it is, I'm going to be storing as much food as possible. That's why I'm doing these videos, to show people how to do any of this stuff. Also, all of the recipes so you see this in this big container. You can also do the exact same thing on a smaller scale and put it into just a quart-sized mason jar. You won't be able to weight it down, and then you can just burp it by opening the lid. The same thing with the banana recipe, if you saw that one. Anyhow, let's get started. So this isn't the best view, but it's what we've got, because I don't have a fancy camera holder or anything. So first what I'm going to do is go through and sort through the veggies that I do have. There's a lot of them that are starting to turn a little bit brown. I'm just going to toss those out for now. They'll end up in the compost. And notice I've got the bowl in the other side here. Also, I washed really well all the surfaces that will possibly be touching any of this food, because it could potentially mess up the ferment. There's actually a lot of wiggle room there, but you want to play it safe and not exposed to any additional contamination. Doesn't have to be sterile, but everything needs to be clean. So I'm going through, sorting through anything that's brown. And the big bowl, what's going to happen there is I'm going to chop up all of the smaller stuff into finer pieces and put them in the bowl. And then when I'm going through the actual collards, which are going to make up the bulk of the ferment, I'm going to gradually be putting the smaller stuff in, mixing it evenly throughout as the collards go in. So the idea is to kind of evenly distribute the tasty, flavorful stuff evenly amongst the collards. Otherwise you would have clumps of different flavors, and that would be kind of weird and not what we're going for. So you don't really need to see me keep doing this, but I'm gonna anyway. I may edit it out in post, or I just may make you watch me pick through these veggies. Cilantro on this one. Actually, I'm not sure if it's cilantro or parsley. I think cilantro. I'm not good at being able to tell. One of you herbalists or plant people can tell me which one it is, I'm sure. And so normally I'll run these things through the food processor to get them smaller, but with this one it's going to be pretty easy to just chop it. So this one I'm actually just going to put them together and chop it. Almost the third off there. Now I don't actually rinse my stuff. Probably shouldn't be telling you that, but I don't mind a little bit of dirt. There's a lot of microbes in there, and a little bit of dirt actually can help the ferment take off a bit. So I'm generally pretty cavalier with that, but clean about the surfaces that I'm putting stuff onto. Oh no. See, and that's why it's a good thing that I'm clean about the surfaces, because when you dump your stuff into the sink, since I just washed the sink out, it's not a big deal to take it back up and put it back into the thing. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of counter space, if you can tell, so that makes this a little bit more difficult, but I'm figuring it out, making it work. Get in there. Alright, here we go. Finishing the last chopping here. And then after this, we'll move on and do the same thing with the basil. Keep getting dings in the background. Somebody must be messaging me, but they can wait. A little bit of the basil is oxidized, but yep, this will taste fine. Kick. That's nice. This isn't regular basil. I'm not sure what type of basil this is, but it has a pretty interesting flavor. Almost did the same thing again. Not paying attention. Always got to be paying attention, especially when you've got unstable setups here. Alright. In with the basil. And then one more time, same thing with the green onions. Oh, but I missed a little bunch of basil. Green onions, we're going to have to pick through the brown stuff. Actually, brown stuff doesn't actually seem to be all brown. It seems to just be the tips. Just for a second. Added a couple oak leaves just for fun. Just kidding. They were just in the bundle. Oak leaves would add tannins that I don't think would cause it to taste all that great. And if you get enough of them, they become slightly toxic. Well, if you get enough of them, they become very toxic. But you get what I'm saying. Or you don't, actually. I'm not sure about that. There's no feedback. So, this whole online video thing is somewhat new to me. So I will just assume I'm being understood unless I find differently in the comments section. Although, since I currently have one viewer and one subscriber, there won't probably be a whole lot of activity in the comments section, at least at this point. But, here we are. Doing it anyway. For the lulz, as the kids say these days. Actually, I don't even know if the kids are saying that these days. I may have shot past the lulz thing. Or the lulz thing may have shot past me. Bet you didn't know when you clicked on this video you're going to get to listen to random ramblings. Partly because I'm too lazy to edit it out. Which may or may not be true. So if you see that part, it means I was too lazy to edit this rambling out. And save you from watching me pick through a bunch of green onions. The reason I picked through them so delicately is that now I'm going to just cut off the brown parts from the top and use the perfectly good leftover green onions still and do that. So, big old chop. Just a couple more. I missed a couple, that's going to be okay. It's not that big of a deal if there's a little bit in there. If I was a professional making these to sell or something like that, I would be a little bit more intense on the quality control, but since I'm not and I'm not bothered by it, this is what we're getting. Alright, it's chopping up the green onions. Starting to get that nice oniony smell in my kitchen. Okay, all the hand chopping is now done. We've got our basil, cilantro, and green onion in here, and I tossed the tomatoes in as well. And now I'm just gonna hand kind of mix these. It doesn't have to be super perfect, but the idea is that you want to, as much as possible, have the goodies be evened out throughout the thing. So we're gonna put handfuls of this in as we put the collard slice ups in there. And basically from this point, we're just going to chop up the collards, and I'm going to use this attachment here. It's adjustable, which is another thing I like about the Breville. You adjust this height up and down of this blade to make the thickness of the slice. We're going to slice up the collard greens, put them into here. I'm not sure if you heard any of that because I think my finger was over the microphone, but adjustable length blade, mixed all the stuff up evenly, putting them into the crock. So basically we're going to slice a container full of collards, put them into the crock, put some salt in, put some of the tasties in, mix them all up, squeeze them. I'm actually going to, you probably won't see it because it'll be done in the container, but I'll actually squeeze the collards after they're sliced up and try to break up as much of the fibers as possible because it's a very fibrous thing. And I may even need to add some water depending on how much juice comes out. So likely I'll also add some water along with the salt, and that's pretty much all it is to doing the ferment. So we'll video a little bit of the chopping, and also you'll see me take the stems off and set them aside. I actually got a little bag for the stems. Those are either going to be chicken feed for the neighbors' chickens or compost. So we will see, and here we go. Putting the compost bag, or chicken feed bag rather, in the sink. Grab the first round of collards. And cutting off the stems, roughly even, a little chop. Now they're ready to be chopped. Let's see if I like that blade setting. Too much. Alright, so we move the blade down. I want them to go with the 4. Pretty good. And the one problem with this blade is sometimes it does get a little gummed up and the machine will start shaking. That happens kind of, I gotta clean it out. But here we go. This is gonna be loud. And here we go. The wrong thing. So the way that was turning, it means that it's stuck here, which means I probably should open it up and clean it out, but I've only got a couple more to go, so I'm gonna actually finish these last couple, and then we'll clean it with when I open it up. Expecting that level of excitement. I'm actually glad that happened on the first time though, because I'm not gonna keep recording these. But you can see how it got caught in the blade here a little bit. So you just pull that out. Actually, it's probably easier to just take the blade off completely. And you take these off. Just fix it. Boom, boom, boom. Take that out of the blade. Clean it up. And I'll actually just toss that back in with my next load. Yeah, these are really dry, so I'm probably going to have to add some water into this to get it to ferment right, because the water helps the nutrients transfer, helps the bacteria move, and keeps it from getting too oxidized. But pretty simply, what happens now is I take my salt. I like to start with some salt in the bottom of the crotch, pour some salt in. And unfortunately I'm not giving you a recipe because I don't measure this. I usually just go by feel. I've done enough veggie ferments that I have a rough idea of how much salt to use. So I'm dumping this in here. Got all the collards in. Bring the bowl, put a handful from the bowl of the tasties, then mix them all up. Mix it with the salt in the bottom. Oh yeah, that's real dry. It's really going to need a decent amount. And then we're going to rinse and repeat. I'll also press down into it, especially once we get more collards in there, and that'll help additionally break it open and get the ferment under the water, as well as mix it up and again breaking open the fibers and cell walls to allow the bacteria to get in there and ferment everything. And that's pretty much the process. So I'm going to rinse and repeat that until all the collards are gone, and oh, there's some kale in there too. Until all the collards and kale are gone, and we've got it ready to go. So the next video will be just the finishing process, I guess. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see this, but so this is basically kind of been going through and squeezing and then digging in and turning it over. So you really want to mix it pretty good, and then at the end, the kind of final stage, you press with the fist. And different places I've read on how to do this say to use different tools to mash things up. I've always found my hands work the best. Now, one of the interesting things here, so right now the level of it is about there on the crock, which is not very far. It's not even, it's probably about halfway up when this whole bag was full. So it smashes down quite a bit. And then how this works is you've got these two half stones and they fit right in like that to press the goodies down beneath the water. Same deal on the other side. Just like so, and the water comes up over it. Yeehaw. I'm just going to use a paper towel to sop up the water that got in the channel, because you don't want, you're going to put water in the channel, but you don't want nutrients in there that things could feed off of. So you want it to be relatively clean water. It doesn't have to be crazy clean, but got to be clean. And then I've got a quart jar here. Pour water into the channel. That might not be enough. The way you check is you lift it up, and if it makes a little bubble, it did not. I'm gonna add some more water. Add a little bit more. There we go. There we go, there's enough water, and we're all set. Now leave this for probably 2 to 3 weeks to a month, and it'll be ready to go.